Is the media preparing the ground for the Blue Beam Project? How exactly such a news got through the major global media is questionable. In the most serious way, they broadcast the news about aliens in major systemic media, and we can see investigators' letters to Congress talk about UFO battles with Russian aircraft. The international press, both written and electronic, is so full of publications. In the past, such news was broadcast to the public only with mockery and laughter. Those of us who do not believe in the existence of extraterrestrials, or our scales lean towards the fact that they don't exist because we want evidence, we wonder why such news became global. And we can read exactly what they write when they will explain to you what the Blue Beam Project is about, the existence of which we do not hide from you, and that we had doubts. However, with these developments, we'll remember about the program in question after the following text concerning the news. A public hearing on the existence of extraterrestrial life was convened last week by the U.S. Congress. Retired David Grush, who headed the Pentagon UFO program, testified that non-human beings were indeed found. Grush claims he knows of people being harmed or injured by the government's attempt to withhold information about UFOs. Two investigative journalists, George Knapp and Jeremy Corbell, who have been dealing with extraterrestrial life for years, submitted letters to the same committee concerning these subjects. Russian aircraft chased and shot down aliens at least 45 times in 1993, according to a classified Russian document obtained and released by journalist George Knapp. Since 1969, our military, he says, position has been that UFOs do not pose a threat to national security and do not merit further study. This dismissive stance is a direct contrast to what has been revealed in documents, reports, and internal memos, he said. Knapp had been reporting on UFOs since 1987 and had a direct relationship with Senator Harry Reid. Corbell has also become a go-to source for UFO whistleblowers and was recognized as essential in organizing witnesses for the historic bipartisan hearing. The battles of the Russian aircraft with UFOs. Knapp's letter to Congress reveals Russia's 10-year UFO study, which he wrote was probably the largest UFO investigation ever conducted, which included thousands of case files from interviews with military personnel. The director of the program told the journalist about the air battles of Russian warplanes with UFOs. Quote, in most incidents, the UFOs were launched at incredible speeds, but in 3 incidents, Russian warplanes fell prey to decoys and crashed. 2 of the pilots were killed that way, Knapp wrote in his letter. After these incidents, the Ministry of Defense issued a nationwide order that the UFOs must be left alone because, in the words of the top air defense official, they, quote, may have incredible retaliatory capabilities, end quote. He brought this information back to the U.S., but for decades the subject of UFOs and aliens was a taboo subject that could destroy a person's livelihood and career in the United States. David Fravor, commander of Navy's Black Ace Squadron, claimed that to deal with the Tic Tac UFO, and he dealt with Tic Tac UFO in 2004. The reporter described it as a giant flying propane tank that was far superior to anything we had then, have today, or will develop in the next 10 plus years. Fox Digital News contends that a 100 plus page scientific analysis for a contracted agency which identifies the technological details and performance capabilities observed and recorded during the multi-week, multi-vehicle Tic Tac series of events not been made available to the public. Project Bluebeam, the Pentagon's secret UFO program. On the occasion of the recent revelations about the Pentagon's secret program to search for UFOs, as well as sightings of such objects by pilots of the U.S. Navy and Air Force, suspicions are being revived that behind the arrival of aliens, quote-unquote, there may be geopolitical and political expediencies with aiming at the final dominance of the planet of a global system of administration, which, however, requires the implementation of a grandiose plan known as the Blue Beam project. It's a secret supposed plan of NASA and the United Nations, which aims by using technologies to create the feeling in the people of the whole planet that they are being attacked by extraterrestrial beings, or that a coalition of countries is attacking the rest of the countries, preferably, for example, the Western ones, as it wants the mutual destruction scenario. In the first case of the unification of humanity is achieved against the common enemy. In the second, there is simply the imposition of a new order on the survivors. And of course, the plan also includes other things, and it's not so simple as the goal as to also the leveling of other unifying elements for some societies, such as religion. Of course, nothing prevents all of this from being implemented at the same time, as it's preferred to do in order to achieve the goals of dark circles of power who want to rule from the front in the light and not behind the scenes from the darkness. The first reports come from the 1960s, but the Big Bang happened in the 1990s. The Canadian journalist Sergei Monas brought to light in 1994 a long-term study of his own about a strange program called Project Bluebeam. Although Monas had said that the people in question have the technology to be able to remotely, of course, cause cardiac arrest in healthy people, he died of cardiac arrest a few days after his information was made public, as did his partner and very good friend 4 days after Monas' death. These two horribly coincidental deaths were in themselves enough to turn the public's interest in the Monas words, which at first were rejected by many and even mocked by others. The PBB, based on what Monas said, it has 4 stages of implementation as mentioned in the Signs of the Times. And going one step further, with today's technology, there's no need for holograms for aircraft. The Blue Beam may have been upgraded. Look at the stealth fighters, for example, how much it looks like a flying saucer. This means that aircraft engineers can easily make flying saucers or other forms of presumed extraterrestrial craft. So what are they preparing for us? This is from Newspool, and I've translated this for you from a Greek article. Please leave your comments, and thank you for your support. Please support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support, and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.